Hi there, fellow human being, part of our humanities team, all of us walking ourselves and each other home on our path to awakening and living from embodying our awakened being state and this state of spiritual intelligence. So, anyway, thank you for your interest, your intention, and your willingness to join me on this adventure to awaken your spiritual intelligence. I'm delighted and honored to be offering this series of classes on spiritual intelligence, and I'm grateful for your time and attention, which really are the most valuable and non renewable resources and gift that you can give me that we have in our life. We can always make up more money or whatever physical resource we use up and replace that. But when we spend a moment giving our attention to something or someone, that moment is gone. And the good news is that with awareness, we can appreciate the preciousness of life. And we want to use that moment, this moment, in service of the highest and greatest good for ourselves and the greater whole, whatever that means to you. And the other good news is we just got a few more of those precious moments. And you might say, hey, Yossi, stop wasting my time. All right, you're right. So, kidding aside, thank you for sharing some of those precious moments with me. And I hope you won't be disappointed and you'll get some value from our time together. This class is about intention, and it is the first in a series of classes about awakening spiritual intelligence. But what is spiritual intelligence, or SI for short, you might wonder. So let me try to define that. Spiritual intelligence is not a belief in higher power or God, nor is it an experience of awakening or a momentary realization of oneness. Rather, SI is the highest and fullest expression of our life force energy, our spirit, the animating breath and sacred spark of life that naturally arises from connecting and rooting ourselves in our spirit essence, whereby we feel inner, inter, and ultra connected, connected to ourselves, connected to others, and connected to the sacred and transcendent dimension of life. And it is from there that we are able to draw on and express our spiritual intelligence when we embody qualities that have been hailed by all the world's spiritual traditions, including passionate purpose, compassionate service, trust, gratitude, integrity, presence, humility, higher self, to name just a few. In fact, in my research, which involved interviewing 71 teachers that were nominated by their peers as those who walk the talks, their talk in terms of their spirituality, I identified 22 SI qualities, such as those I named above earlier. These teachers represented all the world's major traditions, from Buddhism, shamanism, Judaism, Hinduism, Taoism, Christianity, Islam, and several others. And there were at least 4 teachers from each tradition. And I wanted to see if there was something common or ecumenical about this thing I'm calling spiritual intelligence. And what was exciting is that regardless of their cosmology, theology, or metaphysics, they identified these same qualities: of compassion, purpose, service, trust, gratitude, integrity, humility, and so on that I just named. I'm sure you can name some more. And these 22 qualities clustered into 5 main domains, which are around meaning, grace, truth, consciousness, and transcendence. So here you could take a quick look. Might be hard to read, but anyway, so there are these 22 qualities. You can check them out on my website, and you can read a little more about it. But for this course, we're going to focus just on 6 of those qualities, and these are intention, purpose, centeredness, higher self, egolessness, and connectedness and compassion. And if you're interested in some of the others, you can join our monthly Awakening SI community gatherings, which are free, in which each month I focus on one or another of these. And we do experiential exercises, much like we'll be doing here, except you'll be doing it live with other people and community. And it's fun and it's connecting. So again, today in this class, I'm beginning with intention, which I believe is really the best and right place to start, because our intention in whatever we do is crucial, most important significance, as it points us in the direction we're heading, and it becomes our North Star. Else we're lost and don't know where we're going. And if we don't know where we're going, we will go nowhere. So let's begin actually by taking a moment to connect with your intention in listening to this class, giving me some of your precious time. So see if you could take a moment to tune in and connect with your desire and motivation for taking this course. Perhaps you want to learn some about spiritual intelligence, or you want to explore the idea. Or perhaps you're motivated to heal, transform, and grow spiritually, not only in terms of great experiences during practice, but really how to embody these learnings in your daily life so you can lead an inspired life, a life of inner interconnection, and perhaps this notion of ultra connection with the sacred and transcendent dimension of life. Whatever it is, take a moment to tune into your desire, this wish, or this intention, if you will. So, what do you notice? What happens when you let yourself ask this question and notice what comes up? What's it like to simply become aware of and name your intention? And perhaps let yourself feel the desire and the place from which it arises, whatever that desire is. Do you feel calmer, more centered, more connected, more alive, or less? How's your body feeling? More open, expanded, or contracted? How's your breathing? You feeling centered or scattered? Enlivened or numb or something else? Or perhaps there's some fear that comes up. Like, why should I let myself feel this desire for enlightenment or spiritual intelligence or whatever it is? I'm only going to get disappointed. It may not be attainable. But if you just allow yourself for a moment, trust me and trust yourself, to do an experiment just for 30 seconds and let yourself feel this desire without expectation for its fulfillment. And let's see what happens. Just allowing ourselves to feel the wish, the intention, the desire. And if you trace this desire, this intention to its source, it's likely arising out of your heart or your soul. And ultimately, it comes out of your life force, your spirit essence. A spirit, the word comes from Latin, and it means the animating breath of life. So in this class, I want to help you discover and connect with your heart's deep desires and the highest aspirations of your soul, so you may live in alignment with those desires, so they may have the greatest chance of becoming realized and manifest in your life to the greatest extent possible, and whereby you will be living in alignment with your true nature. Now, before I give a short talk about the importance of clarifying your intention and how intention is different from a goal or resolution, I'd like to share with you a Rilke poem. It is titled, "Go to the Limits of Your Longing." God speaks to each of us as we are made, then walks with us silently out of the night. These are the words we dimly hear. You sent out beyond your recall. Go to the limits of your longing. Embody me. Flare up like a flame and make big shadows I can move in. Let everything happen to you beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final. Don't let yourself lose me. Nearby is the country they call life. You will know it by its intensity. Give me your hand. And if this poem speaks to you in some way, you might want to enjoy its musical performance by Jamie Saber and Kim Rosen on YouTube. And we will leave the URL in the show notes. But the point of this poem is that Rilke is encouraging us to go to the limits of our longing, not to throttle down our aspiration and our desires, else we deaden ourselves. Living with passion, with purpose, with open-hearted compassion is intense, and it involves some heartbreaks. I, for one, would rather live with my heartbreak and heartbroken open, working toward the world I pray and dream of, even if it may never come to be in my lifetime. As it's been said, it's really the journey that is the reward. But let's now get back to reality. Beyond these big dreams and big aspirations, I think they're important, but let's break them down and let's talk about our intentions. So it might be obvious, but it's worth repeating. Why are intentions so important? Because they point us in the direction we are going. Otherwise, we're lost. And if we don't know where we're going nowhere, and we'll get nowhere. So intentions are like our GPS, our North Star, our compass. Regardless of the metaphor we use, they are what keeps us on track on our journey through life, be it for a minute while meditating, or for an hour during a meeting, or for our entire lifetime. Intention is like the rudder on the boat that keeps the boat heading in the right direction in the stormy seas of life, with the waves coming and going and the wind changing directions. If you've ever sailed or rowed a boat, you know what I mean. The forces of the wind and the waves are often strong, and it's easy to get off course. Now, I'd like to clarify the difference between intention and goal. Many people, including my clients, don't see much of a difference. So it might be subtle, but I think it's a crucial and important difference. So let's take a simple example. Say you or I are going to meditate for 2 minutes. And if your meditation practice is to focus and place your attention on your lower belly or your heart point and follow the sensations of your breath there, or a mantra, whatever it is, notice what the felt difference is if I state, 1, my goal for the next 2 minutes is to place my attention on my hara. Or second option, my intention for the next 2 minutes is to place my attention on my hara. Or 3, I am resolved for the next 2 minutes to place my attention on my hara. Can you feel the difference? Goals are either achieved or failed. If you say it's my goal, at any point in your meditation, your attention drifts, then you've failed. So why continue? Might as well give up and move on. Go check something off my to-do list. And all the more so with resolutions. They are all or nothing propositions. But if I say it's my intention, or you say it's your intention, and you find your attention drifts off, then you can remember your intention and return to the sensations of the breath of the lower belly. And you keep getting back on track, continuing with the meditation practice. That's what the practice is, returning, reminding ourselves our intention and coming back to it. But if it's a goal, when the first time I drift off, then I failed, which is discouraging, and so I might as well give up and move on with life. So the same principle applies to something larger. I might say my intention is not to eat ice cream after 9 o'clock at night, or my goal is not to eat ice cream after 9 o'clock. Now, if I take my first bite after 9 with the goal, I have failed. I might as well eat the rest of the pint or the rest of the pizza or whatever it is. But if it is my intention, I take a bite, and then I remember this is my intention, I could still choose to come back to my intention and stop. The point is, with intentions, we stay in the game. They keep us pointed in the right direction. They're less all or nothing propositions, which are much more fragile. And resolutions are even tougher, which is why most New Year resolutions fail. Now, that's not to say the goals or resolutions are never to be used. Sometimes we need a specific goal, like I'm going to save enough money for a particular thing, be it a new car, a home, a workshop, my retirement. I might have a goal to save $100 a month to put down a payment on a new car. It could be both a goal and an intention. And it's a way to keep track of where I am towards that goal, that aspiration. And sometimes we may need to have an ironclad resolution. The stakes are so high that even a small slip is disastrous. But it's best to keep those kinds of resolutions to a minimum and move more gently and fluidly throughout life. Intentions lend themselves to practice, where we gradually build the muscle, like in meditation or in how we eat or how we exercise, whatever it might be. We could just build that habit in small bite pieces. So, to quote someone, Brendan here, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, Burchard, but first it's an intention, then it's a behavior, then a habit, then practice, then second nature. Then it's simply who you are. And if I'm to quote one of my spiritual intelligence research participants who said, it's been said that the winds of grace are always blowing, but it's up to me to put up the sails. I always remind myself that the sails are my intentions. Now, it's worth remembering that intentions could be applied at many levels. It could be a few minutes in meditation, like I talked about. They could be how I show up in a meeting. I want to be a good listener or understand the other person, just rather than just argue my point. It could be an intention for a day or a week. I want to be more spacious in my schedule. I want to spend less time on my phone, computer, social media. It could be an intention for a month. This month, I'm going to my intention is to exercise 3 or more times a week, or meditate or pray daily. It could be an intention for a whole year to learn a new language or play a new instrument. And it could be an open-ended intention, like I want to be in a passionate, conscious, loving relationship with my beloved. Or I want to actualize my higher potential in service of life. So intentions could be at any level, and they could be at any scale, and they could be applied to small, big, or deep things. And they don't need to be static. Different intentions may feel more appropriate to different points in life. I might wish to build a career and a professional network at some stage, and then shift the focus of my energy and intention to being in a relationship or in giving back to the world. And one more point, intentions could be hierarchically organized and mutually reinforcing. I might, for example, have the intention to grow spiritually, and to that end, I may intend to find a teacher or a guide, or join a supportive spiritual community, or engage in a regular spiritual practice, all of which support the primary intention around spiritual growth. Or you might set an intention to live a healthy lifestyle, and that may involve several supportive intentions, such as getting quality sleep, exercising, eating well. These are all interrelated intentions which reinforce the primary intention of greater health and well-being. Now, one more thing I want to talk about, which is the relationship between intention and prayer, and how the two might be related. Well, I'm talking about prayer here. I'm referring to a particular kind, namely the petition or supplication, either for ourselves or others, like we might pray for someone's health and recovery, who's going through a surgery or in the hospital, etc. But there are other forms of prayer, such as gratitude, exaltation, reverence, and awe, which do not involve petition. But here I'm talking about petitioning for something in prayer and its relationship to intention. And I want to say that they can both be useful and mutually reinforcing. In a way, prayer is a form of intention. So to make this more concrete, I'd like to share with you one of my current daily prayer practices. So you can listen and watch me and see what happens. Oh, great Spirit, the infinite mystery that animates our reality. Please, please, may there be justice and peace, mercy and prosperity for all of humanity. So I'm going to actually recite this again, and if it resonates for you, please feel free to join me. And the more of us join in this prayer, I think the better it will be for all of us in this world. Oh, great Spirit, the infinite mystery that animates our reality. Please, please, may there be justice and peace, mercy and prosperity for all of humanity. So, what does this again have to do with intention? Well, if this is my heart's deep desire and longing and prayer, then I can set some intentions in support of that. Like Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. The more I tune into my prayer that I want more peace, more justice in the world, the more I want to align my life, my behavior, and my actions with this prayer. So then I start wondering, how can I bring more justice and peace? How do I embody and spread these qualities within and around me? Can I cultivate equanimity, listening, holding my ground while advocating my views with confidence, but also while being open and receptive to others? So those would all kind of flow out of that prayer, that which I want to see in the world, that heart's deep desire, this deep longing and yearning in my heart to see such a world, which I think is aligned with what Humanity's theme is all about. And we're all here trying to basically bring that about as part of Humanity's team. So anyway, in this way, our prayers can give birth, reinforce, and strengthen our intention. And someone in recovery, for example, from an addiction, may pray to receive help and have the strength to continue to abstain from whatever addiction they are working to free themselves from. I think that is one of the principles, for example, of AA, is this prayer and this asking for help from the universe, from God, from spirit, from whatever you want to call it. So, and when we do that, we're aligning ourselves with the will of the cosmos, and we're inviting the universe to support us in our intention. So, bottom line is, prayers can relate to, but are somewhat different than intention. But at the depth of our heart and the depth of our soul, they can support and mutually reinforce each other nicely. Okay, I think I'd like to move us to doing some practice, which is really what this whole thing is about. It's not just about spiritual intelligence, it's not about cognitive understanding, it's about practice in building these habits so we can embody these qualities in our daily life.